Hi, this is Nino Gonzalez, and welcome to another episode of Making Sense. Well, it's the holiday season, and we're trying to create a budget and not go over budget, and also not to fall for some common scams that are out there this holiday season. So I wanted to take a little bit of time to dedicate my show to the holidays and talk about budgeting and staying within your limit, and also talk about some fun gifts for kids. So the first thing is, I read in the Wall Street Journal that this year most individuals were going to spend anywhere between $600 to $1,000 in gifts. That's an average. So let's talk about what your budget is, and maybe that might be too high, maybe that might be too low, depending on who is it that you're going to be giving gifts to. But one of the things that you should have done, and if you haven't done it, is write down the people that you're going to give gifts and how much you're willing to spend or you can spend for that individual. Remember, stay within your budget. Try not to put things on credit cards, and try and pay everything off in cash as possible. I know that when this show is airing, we're getting closer to the big day, and maybe you didn't plan as well, or maybe there's still a little bit of time to plan. But the thing is to try and stay within budget, because remember, that's an extra $500-$600, maybe $1,000 that's going to come out of your paycheck. And if you don't have that amount, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to have to put it on credit cards? And if that's going to be the case, then try and pay it off as soon as possible, and try not to add on to additional debt that you already have. So the big thing is, let's try and stick to a budget. Are you going to spend $25 per individual, $30 per individual? Now, I know when it comes to kids, we also tend to overspend. And that's one of the things that maybe you might want to take into consideration. If it's a big purchase item, such as maybe a game console with games, maybe that might be split up into several family members, and say, as a family gift, we're going to get you this big item. That's what would be given. Maybe the grandparents can contribute $25, mom and dad can contribute another $50, so forth and so forth, to come up with the purchase amount for that big ticket item. So and that also eases the burden, instead of trying to get a whole bunch of individual gifts. Also, let's also consider between is this person that we're gifting the item, especially with kids, are they going to continue using it, or is it going to be just one time that they use it when they open it up, and then it gets put aside and is never even touched again? So keep those things into consideration, and hopefully that will keep you into your holiday budget. And only take to the store what is it that you have budgeted to spend, and don't take any more, and don't carry any additional credit cards with you. One also thing to be on the lookout, as the crowds get, as the stores get crowded, people bump into you, and sometimes there's a reason for that, and so be careful of that. You might not get pickpocketed, either from your pant pocket or from your purse. So make sure you're always aware of your surroundings, and also make sure you have those items close to you, and be careful when people bump into you, because that might be an indication that they might have taken something from you. So let's talk about some holiday scams that are pretty common. And there's websites out there that offer to sell you discounted gift cards. And some of these are legitimate. There's two of them, Raise, and that's RAISE, and Cardpool, CARDPOOL. And what they do is they list gift cards that other people don't want. Actually, other people are selling their gift cards, and they sell them at a discounted rate. And those are legitimate websites, but there's also other websites that pretend to sell you gift cards, and you give them the credit card information and you never get anything in return, or you might get an expired gift card or one with no value. So it is also important to make sure that when you're shopping for discount gift cards, that you go to a legitimate site. And usually these gift cards are not going to be selling for very much less than their face value. So let's say it's a $50 gift card. Maybe somebody might be selling it for $47 or $45. So not that big of a discount. So if you see something out there that is too good to be true, such as you can get a $40 gift card for $20, then that should raise a red flag and maybe think about it as not being a legitimate site. But like I said, those two sites, Raise and Cardpool, are two of the most frequent sites that people use to buy discounted gift cards. And also look up the guarantee policy and see if they will guarantee it if it doesn't work and if you get your money back. Another thing is as I was mentioning, if you think you see something that is too good to be true, then it probably is not worth the while. For example, you're seeing that $50 gift card that's being offered for half price. That might be a deal that might be too good to be true. And right now, there's even fake retailers out there that are popping up and trying to scam you out of money during this holiday season. Because if you enter a search for a product, these sites are going to come up. You might visit them. It looks legitimate, but it could be a scam. So be careful. Make sure you are aware of the websites that you're visiting and make sure that you don't fall for one of these scams. Another thing that's happening is social media giveaways, especially if you're on Facebook, let's say Twitter or any of those social media accounts, is sometimes, and even your friends might post some of these things up that if you enter a survey, you'll get an Amazon gift card or a PayPal gift card or an eBay gift card. And sometimes these are scams. So do not fall for that, because all they're probably doing is that they're trying to get information from you, and it's not a legitimate survey. And I've gotten these through my email where it says, congratulations, you're the lucky winner of a $500 Best Buy gift card. And that isn't the case. They want you to click on that link. Sometimes it can install a virus into your computer, malware, or it can just steal confidential information from you. So be careful of those sites. If it's too good to be true, then it probably is not worth visiting those sites. So they will post them up, especially on social media, for vouchers, for gift cards, and some pose as contests and for you to fill out a survey. So be careful for those. There's other things, and we've probably, if you've been watching TV, you've been seeing a utility company advertising about holiday scams, and those seem to be more prevalent right now during the holidays, especially if somebody is demanding payment from you. Usually utility companies or any other company is not going to demand payment from you through the phone or through email. So be wary of that and don't respond to that. And especially sometimes they might ask you to pay with a prepaid Visa or MasterCard, one of those that you can buy from the retailer and load money into that, or they ask you to send money through Western Union or through a MoneyGram. So those are usually scams. So please do not fall for that. Be careful of who you're dealing with. And if you're worried of something, call the company directly and see if they sent somebody out here. Because remember, credentials such as IDs can be faked, and they can be made to look as real as possible with today's technology. And another thing to take away your hard-earned dollars is charity ripoffs. So a lot of charities pop up now, especially during the holidays, but also be careful when there's a disaster that happens. Usually a lot of fake charities pop up claiming that they're going to help the victims or that they're helping some sort of cause, and they basically do not exist. So always, if you have not heard of a charity or anything, look them up. call their corporate office if they can give you that information, and verify that it is a legitimate charity, because what they're trying to do, especially during the holiday season or when there's a disaster that happens, is they're tugging at your heartstrings. And that's one way also to get your hard-earned money during these holidays. A lot of us don't send Christmas cards anymore. It's still a big tradition in sending out Christmas cards, but there have been these holiday e-cards that you can send individuals holiday cards through email. But some of these sites are also scams, and sometimes, so be careful of the site that you go into to either get the e-card to be sent, or if you receive an e-card from somebody, be careful before you open it up and make sure it comes from a legitimate site. Because a lot of these, when you open it up, it can install a virus into your computer, it can install malware into your computer, and in some situations, it can also hijack your computer. Now, when that happens is that basically it locks you out of your computer and there's nothing you can do, and usually you'll see a message on your screen that says, pay up so much money, and once you pay it up, we will release your computer. And a lot of this is done usually through that digital currency that we call Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is very frequently used in the black market because it is an anonymous type of digital currency. So when somebody is trying to sometimes blackmail you with information they found out about you, or they hijack your computer, they're usually going to ask you to pay through Bitcoin. So if you see something like that, it's usually not good to take that route. If your computer has been hijacked, hopefully you've made a backup of all the important files, or they've been backed up automatically to the cloud as you work on them. Because if they're not, then you're probably going to be losing all that information and going to have to start all over again. You might have to reinstall all the software and clear that drive up to get rid of that hijacking mode. So be very careful of these holiday scams, and be careful of what you receive in emails and what you see on social media. Do not click on anything that looks too good to be true, such as fill out a survey, you have been selected for a gift card, or so forth. Usually it's not going to be true. So we'll come back on the second half of Making Sense and talk about more holiday gift ideas, and maybe get off this bah humbug of scams and pick it up with a little bit more cheery stuff. So we'll see you on the second half. Stay tuned. Welcome to the second half of Making Sense. And in the first half, I was discussing about holiday scams and also trying to stay on your holiday budget this season. But now let's switch our focus and talk about gifts for kids. And one of the things that happens is that, and especially when you have younger kids, is you're trying to buy them everything possible, and what happens is that usually they're not going to pay attention to those gifts, not after a short period of time, and usually they get tossed to the side and they might not even play with them again. And I know that from experience. It's happened to us in our family. So let's try and minimize what is it that we're going to give our kids, and something that is going to be useful and that they will be using over a long term. So here are some inexpensive gift ideas for kids, maybe within the $15 or lower range. And the first thing is, let's get their creativity going with Legos. And Legos are definitely pretty popular. You know, they've made several movies on the about Legos and the Lego franchise. So Legos are always a fun gift, and you can start them off with a starter kit and they can add on to that if they continue, but it also triggers their imagination and their building skills. And there's a lot of push nowadays to try and get a lot more engineering and science students into those fields. And this could be a start to that because you're triggering their imagination and you're helping them build things and putting things together. So Legos are always a fun gift. There's also others that old classics such as Lincoln Logs and Tinker Toys. Those have been traditional building items, and they're usually not very expensive, and you can get the kids a good kit for under $15. So let's talk about another thing is playing cards, and any type of playing cards. And these are also fun because as the day wears on for Christmas or after Christmas dinner, it's a good time to get together with the family and play with some cards. The very first game I taught my son was 52 pickup, where you throw all the cards on the floor and tell him, okay, now pick them up. There's 52 cards to pick up. And he really enjoyed that because then his friends would come over and guess what he would do? The same thing. I'm going to teach you a new game, 52 pickup. But there's always so many games that you can play with just an ordinary pair of cards such as Old Maid, Go Fish. And as you get older, then there's also older adult games you can play such as blackjack and poker. So always a fun gift idea, and these don't cost very much, and they will continue to be played with, and also as a family activity. Another thing to get their imagination going, and one of the things is that now children are so tied up with technology, either through a game console or on their phones or on their tablets. So we want to hopefully try and get them away from that and let them be a little bit more creative. So another thing would be craft supplies. And you can go to the dollar store and pick up several craft supplies and maybe put them in a basket and give them to a kid, and hopefully they can create something out of those crafts that you gave them, or you can work with them and help them develop something. So that's always fun and also an inexpensive gift. Another thing that as I was reading through some of these ideas was temporary tattoos. And temporary tattoos, can come either big or small, and it gives them freedom to do something to their body. Instead of writing on themselves with pen or a marker, you can help them put on a temporary tattoo, and it gives them a little bit of creativity on where is it that they want to put on that tattoo, and you don't have to worry about it being long term, and they have fun at the same time. Another thing is now with technology, you can create a really nice looking coupon book that you can give to your kids. And they enjoy this because it gets them out of doing stuff or gives them a little treat for doing something extra. So for example, you could create a book of coupons that says you can use this coupon to ignore your chores for one day, or you can use this coupon and you don't have to clean up your room this afternoon, or you can use this coupon and trade it in for a dessert. So things like that, and they'll enjoy that, and it is something that they can use depending on how many coupons you print for either a week, for a month, or maybe you can create one every month and give it to your children, and you can reward them for doing good things. You can also tell them if all your chores are completed during the week, then use this coupon and for one pizza night or something like that. So it also motivates them and gives them a little bit of incentive to do well. And you can also use this to reward good academic performance in their school if they're going to school, and depending if how many A's they get or how many B's they get and so forth, and you can reward that good work with these coupon books. And that doesn't cost much to do. You can, like I said, there's probably templates out there on the internet that you can use to format these coupons and print them up on some nice paper and then staple them or bind them and give the kids this. Give them an experience. For example, plan out, give them a trip to the zoo or to an amusement park. That's always good and a family fun activity, and it gets them out of the house. Or take them, nowadays here in El Paso, we have 2 places, I think 3 places where you can go ice skating. So give them the experience of ice skating, especially if they've never done that. So that's also a treat and an inexpensive way to spend together with your kids and do a family fun activity, and you give them a nice gift and a nice remembrance. Now, for those of you that have pre-teen girls or teenage girls, maybe a makeup kit. That's always treasured by females, especially if they're learning how to put on their makeup, or you're allowing them to put makeup on at a certain age. Getting them a collection of maybe some basic makeup to help them transition from being an adolescent into a young teenage woman, and as they get older, they learn these skills. So that's also a nice thing, is a little makeup kit bag with several little samples of makeup so they can try it on, and you can help them and they can play along with that. Another thing would be stock, and what I'm talking about is stock in a company. So sometimes we can buy shares in companies for maybe $10, maybe $15, maybe $20, depending on what company you're looking at. Or maybe you can buy an exchange traded fund, which are like index funds, but you can buy shares in those, and you can give them this gift, and they can see how that money hopefully will grow, and you can get them hooked onto investing. So, and you can help them monitor whether you bought them a share in some company or you bought them shares in an exchange traded fund, and you can show them how the market works, and also teaching them about the basics of finance and investing. And another thing that's also inexpensive and will help them hopefully stay away from the television and all these electronic devices are books. And here I have several books, and some of these books you can get them at a thrift store, or you can get them at the dollar store, very inexpensive, and they might still be in very good quality. So you have different types of books ranging from toddlers to adolescents and to teenagers, and books that they can take a look at. This is always a fun one, the Kids Almanac, and you can find those at any bookstore, or if you're trying to save some money, try the thrift stores. They always have a big selection of books and something that you can get there. Of course, this is more for the younger ones, and of course, coloring books. That's something that's always fun, and you can work on it together as a family. This one has, I think, some coloring and some puzzles for you to do. But talking about coloring books, it's funny because now there's adult coloring books. So there's coloring books for grown-ups. So what they're suggesting, and I'm sure you've seen stories on this, is that if you pick up a coloring book, and these are a little bit more adultish type, but I wouldn't mind coloring a cat or a dog, or one of these children's coloring books. But they say that if you go back to coloring, you bring back hopefully good childhood memories, but it also reduces stress and anxiety. So this one, it has a price here of $7.98, but guess where I found this? At the dollar store, and it only costs $1. So you can find those at the dollar store, some of them that didn't sell at the regular bookstore. But it's amazing that now they have also coloring book for grown-ups, and they have coloring book parties and all of this. for individuals. And it seems like we need to be doing something to sort of keep our minds, I guess, away from stress and anxiety. You know, they call these spinners that the kids have, and now they call them fidget spinners or stress spinners. Whatever, it just happened just to sitting down and just relaxing and vegging out and doing nothing. But I guess some of us, we need to be doing something in order to relax. So that was also interesting. Candy bags, depending, you know, on what your policy is on giving your kids candy, but maybe a little candy bag filled with candies that they enjoy, that they can have during that holiday season. That also goes off well. And if you're going to give candies to children that are not your own, please ask for permission first. Sometimes parents do not like that. Another thing is flashlights. What kid will not enjoy playing with a flashlight? Or they can go underneath a cover or a sheet and they can read and pretend that they're in a tent. So all of these things spark creativity within kids. It doesn't cost much, and you also are getting them away from all these technology-driven devices that you might want to sort of get them weaned off on. Toe socks, especially with little girls, this is a big gift item. And what toe socks are is, in the toes, they have little creatures such as dogs, cats, little piggies or whatever, and it makes those socks fun, and they'll be able to use them for several times and not just one time. So I hope these ideas help you during this holiday season, and I hope you don't fall for scams and you stay within your budget. And I wish you all a very happy holiday season, and we'll see you next time on another show of Making Sense. Goodbye.